let me put some E3 videos from last year up for you guys. You can feel the hype. You can feel the excitement.
The reaction ones?
No, just you know,
okay.
the official conferences from last year.
The reactions from last year were absolutely perfect.
Oh, you're right. Guitar Freak, technically you did have a spin.
Oh, yeah, because you and Kristen didn't do it on...
yes, so 1,000 XP to the entire room. There you go.
There you go.
Please, Rick, 1,000 XP to the entire room. Do it. I will go first, if you don't mind.
I think that's actually appropriate.
First up. Lights go down. Angry voice is heard. Thank you for the follow. The Kratos, the new Norse mythology Kratos, walks out on screen. I'm not going to go into detail because this is going to be a huge boss battle. It's actually going to be. It's going to be an epic boss battle because we already saw what it looked like with him, you know, with the close quarters over the shoulder and the traversal. I think what people want to see now is what happens when the camera gets more dynamic, when it pulls out. Like, what's the motion going to be like there? I think some people are nervous that it's going to be a little too tight. And I think they're going to prove those guys wrong with this demonstration they do this year. It's going to be a really, really cool boss battle demonstration. It's going to show the best graphics we've ever seen on the PS4. And of course, it's going to be running on the Pro. But the big surprise at the end of the gameplay demonstration will be that it is coming holiday of this year.
That would be fucking amazing. And I think I don't think that's absolutely unreasonable.
I don't think so. I think it's a possibility.
I like
they
that.
are usually March. So I'm being a little ballsy here. They're usually March.
Right.
But I think there's potential for it to be holiday.
What games do they have coming on holiday? Gran
Turismo.
That's it. Now, they haven't really had a great holiday release schedule lately for Sony, you know, internal Sony IPs.
They don't need to release it this year. Gran Turismo will probably carry them just fine, but obviously Gran Turismo is so much different than God of War. They won't cannibalize each other in any way. I think there is potential for this to happen. Also, quick reminder, these predictions that we are naming right now, these will 100% go on the bingo card that we're going to be putting together. And then we're going to be taking 8 of your predictions, the ones that we like the most, and also incorporating them into the bingo card. It will be 24 predictions, 1 free space, and we're going to make 30 randomized versions of that card and a PDF for you to download and print out one of those. The one that you think arranges the predictions in the best way for a win. And we're all going to have those on E3 Sunday and Monday of next week.
Doing any giveaways for this?
Giveaways for this segment here?
Bingo.
For the bingo. I'll think about that. Not right now. I don't have any plans on like if somebody wins getting a giveaway, because there's probably going to be a few people that win, I would imagine.
And
there's no way of confirming really necessarily that somebody won or didn't print out another card.
I was going to say, unless they submit it to us.
Yeah, so we'll have to think on that. There's potential there. Go ahead.
All right. So, guys, I want to touch on something real quick before I get into my predictions. I don't know if you looked at my predictions at all.
I barely, just a little bit.
All right. I want to say something. Everybody here, all 3 of you, call me insane and crazy and absolutely absurd for predicting a game that, granted, it wasn't announced at E3, but they definitely announced Knack 2, and I just want you guys to understand I know my shit.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I just want to put that in there. I didn't want to forget this.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising.
No, I knew that was happening because there was too many rumors. There was too much talk about it.
It was definitely like not out of the question.
So Sony will have an exclusive in-game slice on Destiny that will show what will and unfortunately what won't transfer over to the new game. It will be a gameplay that we haven't seen yet for Destiny, and they will also announce a beta for the game starting that day or the next day for PS4 players first, and then for other consoles, including PC, days later. Okay. Very similar to what they did the first time.
Okay, not bad. Not bad. Definitely a possibility there. I could see that happening. Next up for me. Supermassive. What have they been working on, guys?
I don't know, Andrew. Tell me.
Lights go down. Little snow falling in the
Dude,
conference
that was
arena.
amazing.
Although, who knows what this one's going to be as far as atmosphere goes. But I do think it will be another horror game. It'll be a spiritual successor to Until Dawn. And we will get a teaser trailer of some kind announcing the game, announcing its title, giving a little bit of a glimpse at what the atmosphere is going to be like for their next game in the vein of, you know, Heavy Rain and whatnot, where your decisions matter, where people can die, and they stay die.
And they stay die.
And they stay die.
Stay die! Deathman Stranding.
Deathman Stranding. Yeah, I think that we'll see what
that.
Until Dawn is cooking up.
I need to see that. I still need to actually play more of Until Dawn. because I really enjoyed it.
Great game. Stay Die.
Stay Die.
That should be the name of the game. Stay Die.
Stay Die.
Stay Die.
All right, guys. In all seriousness, I think this is the only Nintendo one I have. But there's no lights because they're all. It's just a video.
Well, screw this then. Who gives a shit?
I'm sorry, guys. The lights are always on for the video. But Nintendo will announce the Super Smash Bros. Deluxe, same they did with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That will include all the DLC as well as new stages and possibly a couple new characters to come, including Ink Boy and Ink Girl, or the Squids. They will also, in their video, detail their further VC plans, the Virtual Console plans, including Super Smash Bros. Melee in the vertical slice.
Okay. Super Smash Brothers will be a megaton for sure. I wonder if we're going to get anything out of Nintendo, though, besides Super Mario Odyssey.
I said I didn't want to do anything, and you were asking me.
That's why I didn't do anything for Nintendo, because I feel like they're not doing an E3 conference. They're doing their little premiere or whatever. And
I think they understand. You got to remember, too, Nintendo is changing a little bit. Not a lot. We're still seeing signs of the Nintendo that's begrudgingly adjusting to the new way, but I think they definitely are recognizing we need to see things at certain events and certain times.
Right.
I think they want to do it on their own terms, but I think that this is definitely something to take away the hype, and the not. And I think they know that. I think there's certain games that will do that. A game like Super Smash Brothers, a game like Metroid, certain games like that, if they're ready for it, they definitely should announce it at E3 because they can definitely take some of that hype. They know they don't need to, but this is definitely what it is.
I forgot how often Mike said "yo." I miss it. Stop saying yo, Mike.
I know. Danny says it too much, too, now.
Next up, Sucker Punch logo appears on screen. It's not Infamous, guys.
Where are the lights at?
They're not going to be doing Infamous. It is going to be a new IP, brand new IP, and the biggest surprise of all is that it is still open world and not superhero, superpower related.
I don't like this.
It is something different. It's open world still. I think they're going to stay with open world. Unfortunately, I would like them to not stick with open world, but I do think they will go away from superheroes and superpowers, at the least. I would like to see them get away from open world, but we'll have to wait and see on that.
I want another.
So we'll get that new IP from Sucker Punch.
I need a new Infamous.
I don't.
I need one more.
I will agree with Dean that they didn't end strong.
No.
And it is unfortunate that they didn't end strong. But at the same time, I'm ready for them to do something new.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I love Infamous.
Really?
It's so good.
Really? I'm ready. What you got, Mike? What's next?
All right. So, Bethesda's conference. End of conference. Lights go down. And you think the conference is over. But slowly you hear odd chanting and instrumental sounds. Much banging. And suddenly...
Much banging. Much banging will be heard.
Much banging, much banging.
So much banging.
All of a sudden, on the screen behind them will just be an image, eerily familiar, but also different at the same time, and then Elder Scrolls 6, and then the title of their new game. And that'll be how Bethesda ends their show. Before this...
Wait, hold on a sec.
Okay.
Elder Scrolls 6. I think that this year... we'll be getting more something along the lines of like a Wolfenstein or an Evil Within.
We could. We definitely could.
I don't think we're going to be getting Elder Scrolls this year.
I went ballsy. All right.
I like your balls.
I want it. Here's the thing. My prediction is more so one of my hopes. One of my dreams.
And you weren't here last week, so I get it. That's
right.
Fine.
So I want to do this. I want to put it out there. In more realistic terms, Bethesda will announce a Fallout New Vegas remake with some of Fallout 4's mechanics, or a New Vegas type game based off of Fallout 4. In a similar way that New Vegas was the 3. I think that's more realistic. I think that's something that's definitely coming. But like I said, that was my dream, is to have Elder Scrolls and the conference, just the title. Which you got to remember, they did that.
That's possible. If it's just like a title and that's it. That's
they did that with Skyrim. What was it? 2 years, 3 years from when we got just the title. So
yeah, I agree with you there.
Enough time.
I don't think they show anything more than a title.
No, God, please.
Whoever put that.
No.
Fuck you.
To Dean's question, if they do open world without powers, what will they do? Another game with guns and gadgets? I think that they think outside the box, man. I think that if I don't think they'll go to something that's really trite and cliche.
Before anybody was really doing they did superheroes the right way before anybody was really trying to do superheroes again.
I think they do something that we really are not expecting. guns and gadgets is possible just because, you know, it's very easy to add guns and gadgets to your game. But I still think that it'll be something fresh and innovative, and interesting. Because I don't think they would waste their time if not. Be cool if they did another platformer like Sly. That would be really cool. Again, I would love for them not to do open world and go back to something like a platformer. They might be beyond that at this point. Maybe they've grown past that in the same way Naughty Dog grew past Jak and Daxter. But yeah, you know, I just want them to do something new. I want to see something fresh from them. Just something I'm not expecting, and I'll be really happy. Next up for me, Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to get a lengthy story trailer. I also had this in my hopes and dreams. The difference here is that Final Fantasy VII Remake will not be there. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 will be there. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake will not be there in any way, shape, and form. No logo, no image, no artwork, no trailer, no gameplay demonstration. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is not there. And I think Kingdom Hearts is. And I think Kingdom Hearts actually gets a release date. Not a release date, a release year. I think it'll say 2018.
Yep, absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's actually going to come until late summer next year.
Yeah, I just think it'll come next year, and I think they'll say 2018.
Yeah, so I agree with that completely. We haven't seen a lot from that. They actually, didn't they skip it last year?
There was nothing from 7 Remake or Kingdom Hearts last year.
Yeah, so I think we need something, especially with the news that's moving internally. I think they're fearful that people are concerned about it. So I definitely think we'll see something like that.
Yeah.
So Microsoft obviously has plans to announce their Scorpio. But what I'm going to say that it will be at a price point of $499 or $599 with the Elite controller. And this is when they will also choose to show off new gameplay for Crackdown running exclusively on the Scorpio.
I do think Crackdown is a good choice for Scorpio. If it is what they say it is. Yeah. You know, like what it's doing, what it's trying to do.
Absolutely.
It makes sense for the Scorpio. And I think that's going to be a beautiful game to show off with it.
What do you think about price point? $499.
What I think? I think it's going to be 400.
You think there's no way. Dude, if they do, I will lose my shit.
I think it's going to be 400.
There is no way I can see them.
I think that's the only way this thing really makes a huge dent.
Only way that happens is if they really feel burned from the launch. Yeah. When people were reacting the way that they were to the Xbox One. And they don't like it. Like
that's why I think they will. The $500 price point to Xbox One did not do well for them.
No, but I think also in terms of seeing, you know, the portable, you know, the smaller term, you know, the console-based PCs like the Alienware PC and all that stuff, starting at the $500 price point or $600 price point, I think it is. I think they know that $500 is where they need to be, especially when their games can go between the two, so they can say it's almost like a PC console. I'm telling you, I don't see it going anything lower than $500, but we'll see.
I won't be surprised at 500, and I think that's what a lot of people are expecting, and that's why I think 400 would be just a huge announcement. That would be a megaton, yeah, for sure. Media Molecules Dreams is finally shown, and it's almost like a re-reveal because it is going to be shown as if this is like the big PSVR game of the year. This is the one thing they have to really push that peripheral this year, and it's going to get a September 2017 release date. To get out a little bit in front of some of the other really huge games this holiday.
I feel like the title of that game is exactly what the game has always meant to be. It was just supposed to be a dream. Something that
they're still working on it, man. There's no way they just scrapped it.
That's never actually going to be reachable, achievable, tangible. It was just there to somebody at some point as something in his mind, and none of us are ever going to be able to experience what he wanted.
All that being said, I still think it'll be playable without PSVR, but I think they're going to treat it as if this is a PSVR title.
They have to.
That is the way you play this game.
The fact that they haven't shown it off as a VR title is absurd to me.
I'm very surprised it hasn't already been shown that way, but yeah. Go ahead.
Man. That said, going back, sticking with Microsoft, I think Dying Light 2 will have a reveal with timed exclusive content for the Xbox One at the Microsoft conference, also being shown off on the Scorpio.
I need to hear that one more time.
Dying Light 2 will be shown off at Microsoft's conference on the Scorpio with timed exclusive content for Xbox.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility for sure. Yeah, I think that they're working on some type of third-party arrangements.
Yeah, absolutely.
From what we've been
they don't have enough
hearing, there's something going on there. Yeah. So yeah, I think we're going to get a few third-party. Speaking of that,
I have one more.
I've got one myself, third-party, timed exclusivity. Devil May Cry 5 is going to be announced, and it's going to be shown off at the Microsoft conference, and it will be announced as exclusive. It'll turn out later that it's timed exclusive, as always.
4 years ago, I would have said you're nuts. Because that was definitely more of that Japanese.
Capcom's doing that right now, though. They're doing exclusive stuff, whether it be Street Fighter 5. You know, I think that they're open to those types of arrangements, and I think that they might do it.
It's not even that. I think Devil May Cry is definitely more of that weird niche Americanized title now. I don't think it's big overseas, where you don't have as much.
Yeah, I think this is Xbox realizing this is like one game they can get that would appeal to the Japanese audiences and maybe grow them in that region a little bit, because they're not going to get these RPGs, these big JRPGs. Capcom is more open to this kind of stuff. Resident Evil, 7 being a PSVR title, they're doing things like that right now. So I feel like if anybody were to agree to a third-party arrangement with Microsoft, I think Capcom is a likely candidate for that. And that's why I went with that.
Fighter, yeah, absolutely agree. That said, somebody else that's going to utilize that partnership will be, now this is my big one, and I don't honestly care if it's at Microsoft's conference, even though I want it to be on PS4s. I have a strong feeling it's going to be with this one, but this is honestly going to be a Lights Go Down type moment.
Okay.
Whether Lights Go Down or not, but it's going to be a surprise guest, and Randy Pitchford comes out from Gearbox and starts talking about a game that he's had dreams of, and that he's sure people have seen images and clips from of rendering content that was shown off at GDC, and up comes footage of the newest Borderlands 3 game. In it, you will have a very Destiny similar openness to where, while it's still planet centric, there will be multiple planets to go to and to travel to, and each planet will have one of the Vault Hunters, but the planets that are there will be inhabited by the Vault Hunters, looking for the extra vaults that are still out there, or that we know are now out there in the universe. You'll still be led by Lilith, who will be helping you in your quest, and she will kind of be like how Handsome Jack's daughter was in Borderlands 2, just kind of communicating to you through the ether, if you will. But this will be their big one with time exclusive content, or just exclusive content, maybe DLC or characters or colors or whatever variants of some sort, something exclusive to Xbox.
I think Borderlands 3 is a good prediction for sure. I think that's going to be there. I think it's time.
It's time. I've said it other years, but this is that year where I'm
it's time.
This is going to happen.
This year's big Halo reveal, because they've got to have a Halo reveal at every Microsoft conference, will be the official announcement of a film adaptation from a big name director. Halo 6 will not be teased in any way, shape, or form. When I say big name director, I just mean somebody that has a recognizable name. I'm not saying it's going to be these examples, but something like a Ridley Scott, something like a Neil Blomkamp, something like that.
Oh my God, can you imagine Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, something like that. Just a big name. I think Christopher Nolan's too big. I think Ridley Scott's too big. Neil Blomkamp, I think, is possible. Something that's recognizable, but not, not Steven Spielberg, not Peter Jackson.
I honestly don't think Peter Jackson was absolutely ridiculous.
Peter Jackson's more possible than Steven Spielberg.
Now,
for
what
sure.
really has Peter Jackson done? Oh, dude, can you imagine Del Toro?
Yeah, Del Toro would be amazing, but I think that's also a little
You still think Del Toro's too big?
I
don't know, man. With him wanting to get involved in games.
That's a possibility.
That would be definitely a big one.
Either way, I think if they announce the director, it's going to be somebody where you're
like, if that happened, I'm going to say it's because you said it, and I don't like you.
Michael Bay.
Oh my God, I will kill someone.
I mean, I'll take Halo, whatever I can get. I would like to see a Halo film, but I hope they go with somebody that fits with that franchise. Neil Blomkamp would be perfect.
Blomkamp is actually almost, I didn't even think about him at all.
Yeah.
So my last one's a weird one.
Okay.
I don't know if you read it at all. I'm just going to read what I wrote. Ubisoft will utilize a portion of their conference to remind people, namely their shareholders, of their past and large influence in gaming. They will note that their strengths come from the company being backed by game enthusiasts, and that's what helps solidify Ubisoft as a large cornerstone of what gaming is today. I think this is a thing, and I think it's going to be unique in the way that they handle it. This is a really big year for gaming from Ubisoft as we know it. I've talked about it before when I was still on the show, and I've talked about it with people like Rick and Dean and Drew on my own. I am extremely worried for what's going to be the future of Ubisoft, and this honestly, it could very likely be the last year we see Ubisoft as what it is. For people that don't even like Ubisoft, that's one thing. That's fine. I understand that. But you have to understand they have a huge influence in what's going on. Nintendo's getting involved with them, using their freaking, characters in their game.
They're
Just Dance.
frickin-
I hate them, dude. I hate the rabbits.
I like that you tried to
I'm trying.
get the middle ground there.
I am. Even Just Dance, a game that I hate, you still see such a cult following and such a huge amount of profit come into them. Games like Assassin's Creed are going to be adjusted back to what we hate. We're getting to a point where we're not getting an Assassin's Creed game every single year, and this might be the last time that happens. Vivendi, with the upcoming possible buyout, and honestly, very likely buyout. It seems to be because the shareholders own so much of what, obviously in a corporation, what happens to the future. I think it's very dire, and I think Ubisoft's going to try to make a last ditch plea, both in front of fans as well as the shareholders there, to remind people that them being what they are comes from them being such huge fans of the market that they're in, whereas Vivendi is just that evil soulless corporation that will literally just suck the soul out of every game. And I'll tell you right now, guys, Vivendi buys out Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed every year, Ghost Recon every year, Just Dance twice a year, more DLC to all these things. I'm telling you, it's going to be worse than the App Store market is now. And I actually am extremely fearful of that. So that's...
So you think the prediction is that they spend a portion of
the
the conference
spend a portion
really
of time, or at least at the
that.
very least, you see a lot more of conversation about their influence in gaming more than any other year, to where it becomes obvious that they are trying to drive a point home.
Yeah.
Something that they have not done before. They talk about, companies will talk, they will make a point and effort to make it seem, for people that don't know the situation, it will seem odd and out of place.
Interesting. My final prediction. I have one more, right? I think.
Yeah, you do. You have the last one.
My final prediction. Jak and Daxter reboot / sequel will be revealed. Not by Naughty Dog. Sanzaru Games will be the main developer, but they will make a point to say that they have feedback and they're working together with Naughty Dog to make sure it's, true to the franchise. There's not going to be anybody from Naughty Dog working on the game. It's just going to be a collaborative effort, in that they've got them overlooking it, making sure that they treat the franchise in the right way, and they'll make a point to say that just so everybody feels comfortable with this transitional period. But Sanzaru did a great job with Sly Cooper, and I feel like the next step for them is to take a franchise that is even bigger than Sly Cooper. Jak and Daxter was larger, because they're on their way, I think, to becoming one of the the first party studios that gets their own IP. They're not there yet. They need to do, I think, one more.
Yeah, this is their last tryout.
Yeah. Sly Cooper reviewed very well. They definitely are on their road there. So big balls, Andrew. Thank you. I got some big balls on me. I think that Sanzaru is ready to take a big step here, and I hope this one does well for them, and then they can get that new IP that they deserve. If they can land this, I'm treating it like it's fact now, but I think we don't know what Sanzaru is doing.
No, they haven't had, according to public knowledge, Sanzaru's not doing anything.
Yeah, so what are they doing? They got to be doing something, right? Why is Jak and Daxter free? And why did they throw that back on the store?
Right,
why
like out of nowhere. Right, no, and I agree with you. And one of the things, and one of the predictions I want to put on here, and one of the things I'm hoping is, can you imagine my dream prediction that you guys hated? What if it's a cross of Jak and Daxter with
I'm not going to say this one more time, man. I'm not going to tell you again. It's already happened.
It's going to happen
It was
the right way.
It was Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, and Ratchet and Clank.
It's going to be Jak and Daxter. It's going to be Spyro. It's going to be Gex.
Jesus. Deep cuts here, man.
They're all going to team up. I didn't say Croc, please.
Did you see my hope and dream last week?
No.
Of PlayStation All-Stars Round 2?
No, I didn't say that.
I still think there's
a possibility. You know what's funny is I almost put something like that on here, but I'm like, you know what? That is more of a dream than a hope, because there's been nothing leading anybody to that thought yet.
Yeah. It's definitely a hope and dream, but
the only way that would
happen
happen is if it was here's a title, type thing.
See, no, I don't think so. I think they reveal it. They show why the first one was a problem, and that's why this one's better. And the reason for that is that they didn't have Cloud, they didn't have Solid Snake, they didn't have Crash Bandicoot, they didn't have Spyro. Like, if they announce round 2, they're going to make sure that they show the characters that everybody's like, where the freak is Cloud? Where the freak is Solid Snake? You know, like, that's what they're going to do. They're going to show us that they have those.
I can get that. Yeah.
What if they do a kart racer, though, instead?
Oh my god, dude. That would be
funny.
Amazing.
My hope and dream was
What if
that it was both.
Sanzaru does a kart racer?
That would be cool. Yeah, you know, Sanzaru doing a kart racer would be cool. Somebody that would, you know, go back to the PlayStation franchises, the history of PlayStation, and treat it with respect.
that.
Yeah.